Ah, yes. Welcome back to another edition of Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully, you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. It is a fine evening. We have some images to show you. These images may be disturbing. So, before we begin, let us introduce our dais of animals and aliens. We've got the Hello Kitty, dead Hello Kitty, if you will. Yes. Staring right into your very soul, yes. We've got, of course, our center, our meditational Zen Bigfoot. Yes, it's Mr. Sasquatch, if you will. He's on the ninth dimension tonight. And we've got the baby alien right here. See, he's meditating so hard that he's going upside down. And, of course, we've got the multicolored, multi-dimensional gray, even though he's multicolored. What color should we make it tonight? Should we make him yellow? We'll make him yellow. And, of course, I am your host. Now, we've got the Lockdown Universe logo up here, but we're going to talk tonight about some very disturbing images that just hit the internets, interwebs. And let's get down to it. So, if you are familiar with Nicolas Cage, you are familiar that Nicolas Cage did once play, even briefly, even though it didn't get made into a full movie, he did play an alien. Superman, actually. And although that Tim Burton production never made it to the big screen, he did make it to the big screen as Superman in the most recent Flash. And that's a little Easter egg for you if you haven't seen it. Now, the question is, does Nicolas Cage have connections to aliens, Bigfoot, and many other paranormal creatures? And is he an alien himself? Well, let's get into it. Now, keep in mind, these images may shock you, they may disturb you, but your reality may need to be changed. So let's move into it. Here we go. The first images brought onto the internet here is Nicolas Cage with Bigfoot. Nicolas Cage with Bigfoot. Now, this may be a little bit hard to see, so we're going to bring it on in here. As you can see, it is Nicolas Cage. It is Bigfoot. And Nicolas Cage appears to be imbibing in some beer. Okay? So, that's just one. We're going to get in some others here. Okay? Oh, that's me and having my mind blown. My mind blown about this image. Let's go back.
What up?
Hang it, come on. Here we go. All right, hang on. Give me one sec. We got another image. Here we go. Of Bigfoot. Let's make it a little bit bigger, shall we? Here we go. You can see Nicolas Cage appears to be drinking. I don't know. He appears to have a vodka bottle. I'm not exactly sure. It appears to be a vodka bottle or some sort of heavy liquor. Okay. Let me try to do something here to make it a little bit easier for us to view this. Rotate the album. No, we don't want to do any of that. Okay. Let's move on. Now, see, here's Nicolas Cage with what appears to be some sort of Mothman-like creature. Very bizarre. He has a very interesting face on. Let's scoot it on in there. Yep, he's very excited. Appears to be a Mothman-like creature, and you can tell Nicolas is very excited. A few more, and then we'll get down to the story. Here we go. Let's go to the next one. Okay, scoot in. Here we go. Here's Nick, very excited with some what appears to be, I don't know if it's not a reptilian, but a insectoid of some sort. Nick seems to be having a hell of a blast, and one wonders how he got these images. This seems to be, I don't know, a Slenderman. I'm not exactly sure. It's terrifying nonetheless. Yeah, there he is, and Nick is just having a blast. So, is Nick part of some larger conglomerate of some sort? We really don't know. What we do know is that, he appears to be part of some meme conspiracy, right? This isn't real, right? Can't be. Can't be. Although he seems to be having a hell of a time and having a bunch of fun, I seriously doubt he's that deep into some fake news. Now, let's talk about Nick. I love Nicolas Cage. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. Let's leave that up there. Let's pull this out. We'll leave that. And we're going to bring this over so I can read it and pull up some movies. Now, he's been in a ton of movies that have had him be an alien or something similar to an alien. So the real story, now that we're 6 minutes into the podcast, is that he was raised to believe that he actually was an alien. This is where it gets interesting. Okay, so this article was produced on multiple different websites. I pulled it up on Vanity Fair, and it was on the independent.co.uk. But from Vanity Fair, let's see when this was dated here. This was dated on December 13, 2022. It's almost a year ago. Nicolas Cage confessed that he's always felt a little not of this world. He was shocked as a child to discover that he was not, in fact, an alien. In his interview with Ramp Style magazine, the actor explained that it all started when his father would tell him he felt he had to introduce himself to me because I was such an alien. His father felt like he had to introduce himself because I was such an alien, because Nicolas Cage was such an alien. So he admitted, I was shocked the day I went into the doctor's office, and as a child I found out that I had normal organs, a normal skeleton, because I was certain I was from another planet. Well, who else is from another planet? None other than Superman, right? That he played. Now, we'll get into the other characters he played in just a second. But Nicolas stated, I had difficulties connecting with other people. He credits his extraterrestrial sensibility with helping him realize what he should do with his life. He stated that when I saw David Bowie's The Man Who Fell to Earth, I realized I needed to do something, so I became an actor. Now, this isn't letting him off the hook yet. He still could be an alien. But the Oscar winner revealed that while part of his supernatural disposition is intrinsic, part of the intentional performance he puts on is for his audience. So during the interview with Vanity Fair, he talks about the surreal perception the public has of him thanks to the stories that he's told, such as buying the dinosaur skull that he bought at auction, that he had to return to Indonesia, and he didn't get his money back from it. From his pet king cobras trying to seduce him and hypnotize him and then kill him. That's true. And then he bought a serial killer's home as creative inspiration. That's insane. And then spending the night in Dracula's castle. Much of it was by design, mind you, right? He stated, I kind of actively wanted to shape a perception of myself when I was really young. I've been doing it since I was 15. Something, when you start out that young, you really want to make a mark. Now, of course, he's been in the movies since he was a young guy, right? His uncle's Francis Ford Coppola. His real name's actually Nicolas Coppola, right? So he's part of the Coppola family. Nonetheless, he stated he feels like his life is very boring. He's perfectly content staying at home with his cats. He's spending time with his wife and his kids and all that stuff. He says, I don't see my life as being dangerous or wild, although I do think there is a certain pleasure that is taken in imagining that I am crazy. Well, let's face it, right? He's been crazy in so many of his movies. I mean, let's face it. I mean, if you ever saw the movie Face Off, he plays an insane psychopath, killer, serial killer, mobster, I mean, everything. And then he gets his face ripped off and has John Travolta's face put onto him, and he continues to be a crazy serial killer. I mean, it's really, really fascinating shit, man. That was a great movie. But nonetheless, let's talk about some of these roles that lend themselves to the potential of him understanding the capability of being an alien and embracing that. Well, let's think about this a moment. Many people have seen an image of Nicolas Cage that was taken from an old magazine or old photo somewhere, and it looks exactly like him, but it's from the 1800s or something like that. And it looks exactly like him. So many people already theorize that he is, in fact, a vampire. Now, he actually played 2 roles as a vampire. One at the beginning of his career, and then one at the latter end of his career. So I'll cover those. The first one was The Vampire's Kiss. If you haven't seen that movie, boy, that's a great one. The Vampire's Kiss, he's a young vampire, right? Young, crazy Nicolas Cage, you know, coming out in his early years, very kind of innocent, very kind of, you know, naive, but, you know, nonetheless. Then you get this older version of Nick Cage as being Dracula. And that's in the movie Renfield that just came out. Now, if you haven't seen that, it's a comedy thriller kind of story, but he plays it to a T. And one just has to wonder, is he truly a vampire? Well, he plays it so well that you have to wonder. Now, he played other roles that are, you know, standard roles, like in The National Treasure, in Moonstruck, in Raising Arizona. But he's also played many other kind of paranormal roles, like in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, where he was a sorcerer. He played in the role of Ghost Rider, where his head turned into flames and he carried this chain that could whip people back to hell, and he rode a motorcycle. And unfortunately, that movie didn't do too well, but it was a paranormal movie nonetheless, and it was entertaining and fun. You know, he played crazy Nicolas Cage in that movie. You know, he played an angel in The City of Angels, where he came down from heaven to be in love with Meg Ryan, right? You know, he played, was it Drive Angry? Is that the one where he comes back from hell to bring people, bring somebody's soul back? Let me see if this is right. Yeah. A vengeful father escapes from hell and chases down an evil guy that needs to go back to hell. It's really fascinating, and one of the hell's minions is after him for a while. He also played in a role called Next, where he was able to see 2 minutes into the future. One has to wonder if Nick can't just see 2 minutes into the future, but he can't see a few years into the future, otherwise he wouldn't have got busted by the IRS and have to pay him back tons of money and be in a ton of movies that he didn't want to be in just to pay them motherfuckers off. But nonetheless, it's possible. Now, coming up, he's in Dream Scenario, another paranormal kind of a twister here. The Dream Scenario movie, I actually did a podcast on the origins of that movie. The origins of that movie in particular are that there's this man that people have dreams about, and they all have the same dream about the same man. Sometimes he's helping them, sometimes he's after them, sometimes he's just sitting there being a helpful observer. Now, nobody really knows who this man is, but thousands upon thousands of people have seen him, and you can go to thisman.org, I believe it is, to see all the information about him. They made that movie about this guy, and so Nicolas Cage is that guy. And so he's in people's dreams. He's kind of like the Freddy Krueger of people's dreams, although he's not trying to kill people in most of them. So he becomes famous from being in people's dreams. It's really interesting. I can't wait to see it. So, you know, he's been in, you know, a ton of other great movies, ton of other insane movies, too. Gone in 60 Seconds was a classic. You know, so, Nick, what can you say, right? He's played in a bunch of great movies. He's played in a bunch of horrible movies. It kind of coalesced and finalized itself in one of the most recent movies he did, called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which they talked about just the ironicities and the ridiculousness of being Nicolas Cage, and how insane it is that his life turned out the way it did. Now, you might be saying, Lockdown Universe, what the hell does this have to do with aliens? Well, let's face it. Hollywood is really Hollyweird, isn't it? Hollywood has tons of bizarre characters that have power over the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry reaps different feelings upon us as we watch them. And let's face it, the vast majority of our time after work is probably spent watching a couple hours of TV a day, at night or whenever. Now, maybe you don't watch TV anymore. Maybe you watch your phone, but whatever the case is, you're most likely streaming things. Hollywood has their actors playing puppeteers or being puppets in their huge play to draw out our energy in ways that benefit them monetarily and potentially spiritually as well, as we've been talking about with the reptilians. Now, if the reptilians were smart, they would take over these big jobs inside Hollywood, wouldn't they? And then they would monopolize it. And now we have this writer's strike where they're not getting any money for their reoccurring showings of their movies and television shows on Netflix, Amazon, and so on and so forth. So they're striking. So here we are. We have this conglomerate, these group of individuals that have control over the entertainment industry, and we did a podcast about the rap industry having a meeting, the music moguls having a meeting about the rap industry and bringing on a few of the huge rap stars into this meeting and telling them that they were going to monopolize and capitalize on the violent aspect of rap to push those certain communities into committing acts of violence so that they could be pushed into private prisons so that they could reap the financial benefits. So the idea that Hollywood and Hollyweird is controlled by people who want to monopolize and capitalize on so much of the industry, that it's not that bizarre. I mean, and it's not even me making it up. We know that they abuse all kinds of things within the industry, and people have come out and talk about it, actors and actresses. So we know that. So Nicolas Cage, he's pretty much steered clear of any real controversy other than the financial controversy. But is he an alien, or is he hanging out with aliens? Well, we really don't know if he's hanging out with aliens. Is this proof positive that he's hanging out with aliens? We really don't know. It looks pretty legit, my friends. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, what else can I tell you other than this is terrifying and looks pretty real. Let's move on. I mean, he looks like he's having a fantastic time in these photos. If you're not watching this on Spotify, go to Spotify and watch it, okay? Because these pictures are freaking hysterical and super entertaining. Let's just look through these one more time. I mean, geez. I mean, Nick, come on. He's having a blast. He's having a blast. I mean, who wouldn't be having a blast with the Mothman, right? And I particularly love this photo where he's sharing a huge bottle of gin with Bigfoot. As you can see, if you can look deeply into this photo, it's very peculiar because his hand is on the wrong arm. Now, one might say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. It's just, photoshopped in, But what if Nick can turn his hand backwards and offer Bigfoot this bottle of gin? Now, I don't know, but that sure seems to look like his same arm and his same suit and jacket. If we look deep onto it, look at how this looks exactly the same. His hand's just backwards. Well, maybe that lends itself to credence that he is an alien. Let's look at the last couple here as we move forward. And, yep, here he is again, in like a lumberjack shirt here. And he's given this bottle of liquor, apparently, to Bigfoot. And Bigfoot seems to be content with it. Now, yeah, and here he is jumping through a couple of weed fields. If we want to zoom in here, we can. Nick seems to be having a hell of a time jumping through the weed fields here in, I don't know where this is, but they are fascinating. Here, let's pull up another one. There he is. He's just having a blast. And the last one we'll pull up here for you. Yeah, okay. This is the first one. So it appears that he's taking a selfie with Bigfoot and he's about to give him a beer or some liquor and he's in the background. So, is Nick hanging out with Bigfoot? The evidence is here. It's for you to decide if it's accurate or not. Now, is Nick an alien? We don't know. Does he have connections to aliens? That is possible. Whether it's Bigfoot or whether it's somebody in Hollywood. Now, just going back real quick to this beer and the alcohol that he seems to be giving Bigfoot, Randy Kramer of the Secret Space Force did make claims and statements that we are the best in the galaxy area that we surround in making beer and liquor products. We have perfected it. So we do trades with beer and liquor. So it is within the realm of what Randy Kramer and some of these secret space program people have talked about, that we might be giving Bigfoot beer. Maybe that's what he likes. Who knows? Everybody likes a little beer every now and then. Takes the edge off. And I mean, interdimensional travel might be difficult. So, who knows what Bigfoot has encountered on his many adventures into other realms. We really don't know. So, nonetheless, these pictures are fascinating. They are interesting. I think they merit a little bit. Look at this, reflecting right off of the alien's head. They merit at least a little bit of review. And I hope you have enjoyed our little review of these photos of the movies that Nick Cage has been in. I am just a humongous fan, and I couldn't care less if he is an alien. Honestly, I would hope that he is a vampire so he can continue to make great movies, not get too old, and, continue to make things that I enjoy, because he's one of my favorites, if not my favorite of all time. So, if you haven't seen all of his movies, that's okay. He hasn't made all the best ones, but you should definitely see a few of them. Gone in 60 Seconds, Con Air, The Rock, some of the classics. Face Off, you got to see Face Off, and National Treasure movies are great too. Anyway, what do you think? Leave your comment in the comment section. I'm going to put up a poll. I'm going to see what you guys think. Leave your suggestions there. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I hope you guys are enjoying these podcasts. I'm going to pull up another one. We've got a couple in the waiting, so we are going to be producing them and putting them out for you. So I hope you stick around for a few more mind-blowing and thought-provoking podcasts as we move forward. So I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally, hanging out with Bigfoot and drinking some beers if you can, taking care of your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, following through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams, and as always, continue to question the universe around you. Please like, follow, and subscribe on any podcast app that you listen to. It's free, and I love you guys. Take care of yourselves, and as always, continue to question the universe around you. Lockdown Universe out. Go like, follow, subscribe.